Hello everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having an amazing day. Obviously you are, I would imagine so, unless you tried to short into this awesome behavior from Bitcoin. I would say that we are in pretty darn good shape. Now, some things we want to take a look at here, of course. We want to take a look at previous month close, opens, etc., because that is important for us to acknowledge. We do also want to redraw out some Fibonacci retracement levels here as well, taking the most recent high to the most recent low. I wouldn't even say that's most recent. Honestly, that's a little dated, but the reason why we look at that is because we want to get big picture understanding of where the price could run to and the next key level supports and resistances. Again, these are larger time frame things that we're going to look at here today, but I think it's important in the big picture because we can see what's happening in the micro. I mean, it's doing very well. It reset itself on TD sequential, so we could very well continue to run. But we need to know where those key levels are, and roughly about 32,800 would be the next major resistance range. Okay, now again, there's a lot of little stuff in between there we want to pay attention to, but that's generally what I'm looking for here today. We're also going to take a look at some back-end stuff on high block capital. So why don't we just jump right in there? Oh, before we do though, I want to kind of preface and tell you that we're looking at some pretty unusual activity here. In other words, $1.26 billion in USDT was transferred in under 10 minutes, and it was effectively bought and sold in that time frame. That led to today's very strong, sharp increase. Okay, so you got to keep in mind that these things happen quite frequently. You want to pay attention to those. We can consistently alert you when those things occur on our Twitter. By the way, please help us grow our Twitter if you could, please. The link is basically Crypto Cash, Cash Trading. Link down below, of course. Everything is there for you if you want. But again, that is our official page there, and just something to kind of stay abreast on there. But what we want to look at is, again, back-end data here and kind of see what's going on. So big picture here for Fear and Greed Index, it's doing awesome. We're back on track here. The market is cranking. We know that already, okay? What we don't know is a handful of things. So we're seeing a lot more ask orders as the price goes higher. In other words, people are trying to sell more than they are trying to buy. That doesn't necessarily mean that you just want to short, though. It just implies that people are trying to take some profits, no matter where that's at. We can also see that the whales are fairly stagnant here. They're kind of just staying on the sidelines, letting retail take over. Makes sense. This is a Monday through Friday situation. Whales tend to kind of hang out on the sidelines sometimes there, but more importantly, when the price goes higher, whales are less active. And these are just the difference of large order versus small orders. That's really the difference there. So don't overthink that at all. What we want to look at here, of course, is we can see slightly more amount of longs are opening than closing today. So that tells us there's more buying pressure, but we also have a significant amount of selling pressure too, with more shorts getting open. Hopefully those are late shorts, not early shorts getting liquidated. But generally speaking, we can see that we have a decent amount of shorts that have been opened in the recent 24-hour period. So that being said, it makes perfect sense, right? The price is overextended, at least within reason. I mean, we're up about 25, almost 30% in 3-4 trading days. So, I mean, I could totally see that. Taking a look here at the open positions here, we can see a lot of longs are in the green at 30,000, so they're doing very well, feeling good about that. Some shorts here, unfortunately, are kind of underwater. They're at the 30,200 mark, okay? So again, not everyone's getting liquidated. There are some holding on, of course, but we got some late shorts as well here at about 31,000 as well. So we'll see if they succeed here. Again, sometime tomorrow, there's a good chance that could happen because we do have this resistance zone at about 31,000. So let's talk about that. That is the previous month essential high, right? So the highest point in which April or May had gone, essentially, well, more so April, but generally speaking, that's a previous month high. We can see that that was the level, right? So 31,000, as close to 31,000 as even as you can. That being said, we're right there at that current price point. So there's a chance of two things, that the price either rejects off that level and comes back down to the 29,800 range, which is there's a strong amount of support there. We noticed that yesterday. Or the price action essentially consolidates here and bounces higher. So there's a chance of either range-bound activity between 30 to 31,000, or the price consolidates at 31, and then we look towards 31,800 or perhaps even higher. Okay, so some cool stuff's going on there. Let's take a quick look at the big picture here. This is something to note. We haven't seen this in quite some time. The RSI has yet to, or at least this year, this is the first official time it's continued higher. Again, today's candlestick hasn't closed yet, but we are looking at the potential of the price action staying above 70 in the RSI. And I did misspeak technically earlier this year in January, which we had that very strong parabolic little run there from about 16 to, what was it, 21,000 roughly? Yeah, that went over 70 on the RSI as well. So this isn't uncharted territory by any stretch. Just got to note that when the price goes above 70, crazy cool things can happen. And again, in its past, when the price went up over 70, we can see that it stayed over 70 for almost a full 3 weeks, and the price action jumped around somewhere in the range of about 20% up and down in that period. Okay, so it's just important to recognize that we could see some extreme volatility here moving forward. Now that we've broken through that key level resistance, being above 70 really tells us that should work as a support level. And you can see pretty clear here, the price broke through, came back down to bounce off that support. Okay. So that's essentially a standard trading thing that happens, whereas a previous resistance turns into a support level. That's roughly what we're seeing there. So very, very cool stuff. So we can reaffirm that 29,800 is a key support. Okay, not only based on Fibonacci, but just experience in the last couple of trading days, right? So that said, everything else looks pretty peachy. I mean, we had literally above all moving averages. We really have no reason to bet against this here. Keep in mind, obviously, there are some shorting opportunities here and there, right? I mean, honestly, I opened a short yesterday and we immediately closed it within about 30 minutes because it just wasn't going the way we were supposed to. It was roughly at that 29,800 mark. It didn't want to break any lower. There's a tremendous amount of support right there too. In fact, I think there's some large investors that have an average price right at 29.8, and they're willing to keep that position as hard as they can, right? So we've extracted the dailies looking pretty strong. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the 4 hour and kind of see here. And this is what I'm referring to with that nice little reset. You can see the price came up to a 9, continued higher, got into this extreme overtime situation. We had a full 24, almost 48 hours of consolidation at the 30,000 mark. Okay, that was just enough time to warrant this next leg up. Granted, we saw $1.26 billion in USDT transferred on one exchange here just today in a small amount of time, 10 minutes, right? So one 10-minute candle, the price just shoots right up. Okay, so you got to keep in mind that has a lot to do with it. But the fact that the price didn't want to come any lower, whomever brought that money into these exchanges here was willing to be able to push the price action higher because they feel confident that this price is going to be the lowest point. Okay, so that's a very, very good sign. All right, so again, kind of try to think the way that the whales or retail think, because honestly, at this point, that's really what we're looking at here. Okay, so that being said, we're going to be taking a look here at a few other things. Let's go ahead and take a look at, well, first things first, we want to look at our moving averages here, or just say the moving average convergence, divergence. We got a strong MACD here, also pushing through, telling us that we have more continuation potential here. We can also see the RSI kind of bounced off 70. Look at this. This is an interesting thing how this works out. Instead of coming back down to consolidate closer to 50, it continues to bounce right off that level. Okay. Now again, do I foresee us going to 32, 33, 34,000 today? Probably not, but at this point, I can tell you though that I'd be hard pressed to short at this level here, just based on how much volume we're seeing in the market. Okay. Once again, RSI kind of showing us that it's still overextended. And with it calming down and retracing, we'd be in good shape. So I'd venture to guess that we could see the price stay here, but it's equally as opportunistic to short to 30,000, right? I get the concept there. I get that question a lot right now. But again, there's so much momentum here right now. It's difficult to want to do that. At least I would say you should have difficulty doing that. That's what I'm getting at. All right, so 4 hour we can extract is also bullish, but overextended on the RSI. And of course, TD sequential has reset itself, so we could literally see the price continue to run. That said, on the hourly, what does that look like for us here? I mean, TD sequential is going to give us a very same scenario. We're at the beginning stages of this initial increase. Okay, so this doesn't really tell us too much. What we wanted to look at is the cloud. And this is what I talked about yesterday. Don't bet against the cloud. It's consolidating right there at about 30,000. And essentially, since the price didn't break down like we were hoping for it to, as far as a shorter opportunity is concerned, the price continues higher and maintains itself above that. So all in all, at this point, this is telling us that we do not want to kind of bet against that. We got the conversion line above the baseline. We're above the cloud, and the lagging expense free and clear. So this literally tells us you do not want to touch this regarding a short position. In other words, try not to short into it at this level until it's had a chance to consolidate and go sideways. So there's a good chance this could continue to run, but it's too early to tell. Okay, so that's kind of where we're at here. Honestly, there's bullish behavior everywhere. Shorting into this would be challenging, I would say. I wouldn't recommend it. Even though there are more shorts open than longs at this point, a lot of them are underwater. So if you want to be a late short, I guess that would be appropriate, but I wouldn't recommend anything significant there. We do see some activity here. Take a look at this here. We're starting to see some selling off here a little bit of selling pressure. We'll see if that can sustain. But again, betting against Bitcoin right now, I think it's a tall order, and I would recommend against it. Try not to get yourself in the mindset of just buying every overextension, because in these bullish parabolic runs, As long as we're above all those moving averages and we're looking pretty good, you can extract that the price action is probably not going to come down much further. We're going to be able to sustain that level. So try not to be amongst those few. You will get successful here and there with some shorts. Don't get me wrong. There's still plenty of opportunities. But be very, very careful. I mean, you take a look at Bollinger Bands here, for example. This is extremely overextended, right? And the price is pulling back now. So I guess it depends on how you want to look at it, right? There's a lot of different theories, different schools of thought. Just be careful, is all I'm saying. 30,000 is a very firm support. If you're going to short, make sure you take some profits before it goes any lower than that, because I don't think it really will at this point, just based on the amount of volume and just buying pressure we have at that level. So again, all is well. I hope this makes sense for you. Thanks again so much for watching. If you could, again, help us grow our Twitter community over here at Cash Trading. And then obviously you want to become a better trader and join the likes of some really awesome traders. CryptoCash.tag is a site linked down below. We have day trades, swing trades, as well as a trading academy and community where we all learn and grow together. It's a phenomenal experience. And thanks again to everyone currently being part of that. It's just a really awesome opportunity to be able to interact with you and to work with you. So I love it. Thanks again. Hope you have a good one. We'll see you in the next one. Have a great rest of your day. Take care.